One sunny spring day in a colorful town by a wide river, there was a girl named Lila. Lila was 8 years old. She lived with her Aunt Maya and her cousin Omar in a small blue house right next to the river bridge. The house had a large window in the front room that looked straight out at the moving water. From that window, Lila could see many boats every day. Big boats carried boxes of fruit and vegetables to the market. Small boats carried families who laughed and took photos. Colorful boats carried flowers, toys, and sometimes even animals in cages. Lila loved to sit by the window for hours. She waved at every boat driver she saw. Most of them waved back with big smiles. Sometimes they shouted, "Hello!" or blew their horns. One fresh morning, Lila sat on the stone steps outside her house. She had a small basket full of old bread pieces. She threw the bread into the calm river. Ducks swam over quickly. They quacked loudly and ate every piece. Lila laughed when one duck tried to take bread from another. Then, while she watched the ducks, she noticed something different on the water. A small wooden boat floated slowly down the river. It had no people inside, no oars, no sail. It just moved with the gentle current. Lila stood up fast. She looked up and down the riverbank. No one stood on the bridge. No one walked on the other side. The little boat came closer and closer. It bumped softly against some smooth stones near the edge. It stopped there, rocking a little. Lila walked down the steps to the water. She bent over and lifted the small boat with both hands. It was light and wet from the river. The wood felt strong and smooth. On one side, someone had painted a bright red bird with open wings. Inside the boat lay a small white envelope. Lila carried the boat up to the steps. She sat down again and opened the envelope carefully. Inside was one short note written in neat black letters. The note said, "This little boat needs a new friend. Take it home with you. Clean it and fix it if you like. Then send it back to the river. With a small gift inside, pass the kindness on to someone else." Lila read the note 2 times. A big smile came on her face. She hugged the boat close. She ran inside the house. "Aunt Maya, Omar, come see what I found." Aunt Maya was washing dishes. Omar was reading a book on the couch. They both came to the door. Lila showed them the boat and the note. Aunt Maya read the note out loud. She said, "What a sweet idea. Someone wants to share kindness with strangers." Omar touched the red bird painting. "It's pretty. Can we make it look even nicer?" They all went to the small backyard. They put the boat on an old table. They washed it with warm water and a soft cloth. They dried it in the warm spring sun. Lila found a tin of blue paint in the storage box. She painted the sides carefully. She added 5 yellow stars around the red bird. Omar found some white paint. He painted small waves on the bottom. While they painted, Omar said, "What can we put inside as the gift?" Lila thought for a moment. Then she ran to the garden. She picked a fresh yellow flower that smelled sweet. Omar went to his room. He came back with a tiny, smooth green stone he found at the beach last summer. He said, "This stone is my lucky stone. It can bring good luck to the next person." They put the green stone and the yellow flower inside the boat. They looked at it together. It looked beautiful now. Bright colors, a lucky stone, a sweet flower. The next day was Sunday. The river was quiet and shiny under the sun. Lila, Omar, and Aunt Maya walked to the middle of the bridge. Lila held the little boat high. She said, "Thank you for coming to me. I hope you find another friend soon." She bent over the railing. She placed the boat gently in the water. The current caught it right away. The boat floated slowly downstream. The red bird and yellow stars sparkled. The green stone and flower waited inside. Lila, Omar, and Aunt Maya stood on the bridge. They watched until the boat became very small. Then it turned a bend and disappeared. Lila said, "I wonder who will find it next." Omar said, "Maybe a boy who loves boats." Aunt Maya said, "Or a girl who needs a smile." They walked home hand in hand. Lila felt warm and happy inside. She said, "Kindness is like the river. It keeps moving and touches many people." A few weeks later, on a rainy afternoon, Lila sat by the big window. She watched raindrops on the glass. A bigger boat came up the river. A man stood at the front. He wore a yellow raincoat. He saw Lila in the window. He waved with both arms. Then he held up the small wooden boat. The red bird still looked bright. The man smiled wide. He shouted through the rain, "Thank you. My daughter loves this boat so much." Lila jumped up. She opened the window fast. She waved back with all her strength. She shouted, "I'm so happy." The man put the little boat safely inside his big boat. He waved one more time. Then he sailed away into the rain. Lila closed the window. She turned to Aunt Maya with shining eyes. "The boat came back to say thank you." Aunt Maya hugged her tight. Omar ran in from his room. He said, "See, one small boat started a circle of kindness." From that day on, Lila watched the river even more. Sometimes she saw flowers floating by. Sometimes she saw paper boats with notes. Sometimes she saw leaves with tiny drawings. She knew other people were passing kindness too. She knew her little red bird boat started something special. Every spring, Lila still sat on the steps with bread for the ducks. She threw pieces in the water. She looked at the river and smiled. She waited quietly for the next small surprise. And the wide river kept flowing, carrying stories, carrying kindness. From one person to another, forever. The end.